everyone, this is Martin from Tech Altar, and if you've come here for a ColorOS Lollipop kind of video, then you've come to the right place. This is going to be a video about ColorOS 2.1 running on top of my Oppo Find 7. It can also be installed on the Oppo Find 7a, of course. And I'm going to make a kind of review slash hands-on video. So this is a very early alpha private build, so it's not available for the public yet. But the public beta should go live pretty soon, and I'm going to upload a link, or I'm going to put the link here in my video so you can download it right away when it comes live. So let's check out what this looks like and let's get started. So the first thing you'll see right from the lock screen is that the design has been slightly updated. So you see slightly updated font. You see that the quick launch icons have been removed from the bottom. And you also see that the wallpapers have been updated. I really like this one, for example. I think it looks very elegant and also modern. And if you swipe up, you also have another of these new wallpapers. I've already preset this. I think the original one, the stock one, is this one. Also looks pretty good. There's a lot of ones that have these kind of starry night feelings, which remind me a bit of Apple, but I think they all look pretty good. And I just put it back to my favorite one. There you go. So you have all of these new wallpapers. They look pretty good. I'll leave a link to them in the description of this video, so you can download them. And then let's just zoom in here, or let's just bring the phone up closer to the camera. And you'll see that also the icons have been updated. So I like a couple of them. I like the camera especially. I don't like all of them. I think the music one looks a bit cartoonish. But in general, if you look at more of them here, I think they look in general a lot better than the old ones did. Especially I think the File Manager looks pretty good and so on. So these are slight updates. I think they look better than previous versions. But again, they're not quite material design language yet. And if you go into the settings, you also see that here again the same theme applies. So you'll see that there has been a slight update to the design language here. You have these colorful icons here instead of the gray ones previously. I think it looks again a bit better, but it's still noticeably ColorOS, which I think is a kind of a good thing in a way. So you have these ColorOS looks. Let's just go into About Phone right here. You'll see that this is ColorOS 2.1.0 beta. This is actually an alpha version, as I've said before. And it's running on Android 5.0. In fact, it's running on Android 5.0.0, so 5.0.2. So this, I think, is a kind of a mistake here. Let's just go out of here. So that much about the design. And the next thing that I'd like to talk about is they're kind of the under the hood improvements, and that's actually the big story here. So as you see, the design is more of an evolution than a revolution, and I actually think that's kind of fine. But the big news about this update is actually the direction that Oppo is trying to take here. So the four things that Oppo has said ColorOS 2.1 is standing for is light, fast, stable, and power saving. Now, all of those four things are actually in kind of a stark contrast with previous ColorOS versions, as especially ColorOS 1.2 and maybe 2.0 as well. They were all about new features, big features, live weather, kind of eye candy sort of things. And a lot of that has been dialed back in this version. So you'll see here that maybe if I go to recent menu, you see, well, I don't have a lot of things running, but I have a lot of free RAM at least. You see that the UI is actually kind of responsive. Let me just open a couple of apps here. They're all pretty fast, and the animations are pretty good. Let me just open the Security Center maybe here. So it all looks pretty good and pretty fast now, and it's not extremely fast. I don't know, it's not 10 times faster than ColorOS 2.0 was, but it's in general pretty snappy and a pretty nice experience. And the way Oppo is trying to achieve this is by implementing, first of all, the Android Runtime environment, or in another name, ART, which should make a lot of the third-party apps run a lot faster, and apps in general run faster. And also, it is by cutting back on the redundant and kind of bloatware features. So ColorOS has, over the years, developed a lot of features from different ideas, And a lot of them are kind of redundant, or they figured out that nobody's using them, and they're adding a lot of strain on the CPU. They're eating up RAM in the background and so on. And a lot of those have been cut. So things like live weather, which is basically just eye candy, but consumes a lot of resources, or other things like shake to switch songs, which I guess are kind of okay as features, but hardly anyone uses them, and it's really easy to substitute them with other features. So those have been basically removed from the system, and what you're left with are basically the most important things about ColorOS. So you still have, for example, your double tap to wake, you still have your ColorOS camera, your max audio, and a lot of the other features that many people like ColorOS for, including myself. You have the security center, which houses a lot of control over your phone, over which phone can do, which application can do what on your phone, and so on. But at the same time, you don't have all these kind of unnecessary features, which were more or less just sitting there eating your CPU cycles and RAM. So in theory, this in the future will lead to much better performance than what was seen on earlier ColorOS versions. For now, it's just, I guess, maybe around the same. But keep in mind that this is a very, very early build. So I think in the future, this will translate to something much, much nicer. And I generally like this experience of focusing on making this a more stable, a more light, and more fast and better performing operating system, instead of just loading new features on there. So the last thing that I'd like to talk about is the so-called OTA 2.0. Now, if you don't know what OTA is, it means over the air, and that refers to updates. Let me just go here, about phone. So in theory, OTA 2.0 will make it much easier to upgrade your phone from one version to the other. Now, there's a bit of a catch here, because you can't actually update to ColorOS 2.1 via OTA update from ColorOS 2.0. So it's kind of ironic here a bit, but in theory, in the future at least, you'll be able to update over the air, or just via one click, to newer versions, and it will be much easier. Apparently the installation packages will be smaller. You'll be able to skip certain installations. For example, if you're going from ColorOS, let's say 2.1.0 to ColorOS 2.1.5, then you'll just be able to do it in one step, instead of having to update once for every version and so on. So again, that's also a pretty nice feature. And again, I think it's going into the right direction. So all of these changes that I've said before, they're not huge updates. They're not, revolutionary, but I think they're all ticking all the right boxes. So Oppo is trying to focus on becoming better performing, more efficient, and kind of more flat and modern looking. So I liked it a lot. I like where this direction is going. So let's wait and see how well it will actually turn out to be. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this kind of exclusive behind the scenes sort of content, then absolutely give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to see more content like this. And follow me on Facebook or Google+ if you like that kind of thing, and I'll see you in the next video.